Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you with the review of WWE's Clash of the Champions 2017. What a night for wrestling. I can honestly tell you that this match honestly had one match, and the rest of it was what it was. I can honestly tell you that the one match that I cared for, how do you say it, second most on the show, wasn't even on the show. I still haven't had a chance to see it. I do know that Mojo Rawley beat Zack Ryder on the WWE Kickoff show. And sometimes people say that, being on the Kickoff show is cool because not everybody has the network. And I can remember as a kid growing up, I used to watch the WWE free-for-alls, and I used to not get the pay-per-views, but I would always tune into the pay-per-view channel, watch the free 30-minute pre-show that had one featured match on it, just to watch some wrestling. And maybe there is some kid sitting there on YouTube, or maybe there is some kid on Facebook who's going to watch Mojo Rawley against Zack Ryder because they like SmackDown, but they don't have the $10 for the network each and every month. So Mojo got the win there. On the actual show, though, itself, this was like watching a longer episode of SmackDown. There was times when, honestly, I wasn't even paying attention to the show because I was drifting away from what I was watching. I had a long, hard day at work today, and I don't get to watch SmackDown each and every week, so I really didn't know everything that was going on. But on the show, in the opening match, we had a new champion crowned. Dolph Ziggler becomes the new United States champion, beating Baron Corbin and Bobby Roode. This finish basically came as Corbin went for the end of days on Bobby Roode, and Ziggler snuck up from behind and hit a zigzag on Baron Corbin. This is Ziggler's second run with the United States Championship. I can remember him holding the Intercontinental title a whole bunch of times. I don't really remember him having the U.S. Championship last. Maybe he lost it to Baron Corbin if I remember right, but I'm really not sure. A lot of times I've believed in Dolph Ziggler basically saying this is going to be the run that makes him the main eventer yet once again. Unless he's holding that Money in the Bank briefcase or he becomes the number one contender to go out the championship after winning a number one contenders match. I don't really think I can take Dolph Ziggler seriously. I like him as a wrestler, but I don't think of him as a real threat on SmackDown or Raw. I feel bad for saying that, but it is what it is. We're seeing another start of another mid-card run for Ziggler, and it honestly could end on Tuesday in a rematch against Corbin. So who knows how that's going to pan out. The second match of the night was the Usos defending the SmackDown Championships against the New Day, Rusev Day, and the New American Alpha. This was not the traditional style Fatal 4-Way, with basically each team having one member in the ring at all times, not having to tag in and out, to be in the ring in a 2-on-2 tag team fashion. I didn't know if this was an elimination match or what it was, but it all came down to one fall. The match ended basically when Gable was trying for a German suplex on a member of the Usos, and he was saved by the other one, and then Jimmy performed 2 super kicks before Jay won the match with the big splash off the top rope. 1, 2, 3, they were able to get the win. From there, we went to the Lumberjack match featuring the Divas, a very fun match. This basically could have been a battle royal because of all the tension that was already in the match with people not getting along with people. But there was the Riot Squad was out there was Naomi out there. I don't know if there was any other baby faces to go out there, but we had Tamina, we had Lana, and 3 girls from the Riot Squad. At one point, Carmella tried to cash in her Money in the Bank briefcase, but basically the Riot Squad all jumped in the ring to break up. And then basically Natalya went for the sharpshooter, but Charlotte was able to counter it with the figure 8 leg lock, getting the submission victory. After this, we had the in-ring promo with basically Dasha interviewing Charlotte. Interviewing Natalya. A lot of times when they've done this in-ring interview during the pay-per-view, it signifies the start of them moving in a new direction, like when they did Mickie James last month. Mickie ended up, sort of moving down the card. I thought at the time she had retired, but it just was her signifying not being in the title hunt anymore. I think that might be where Natalya is going from here, but she did say to WWE that if you turn your back on me, I will turn your back on you. So maybe now she joins the Riot Squad. Maybe she joins the Wyatts. I don't really know where she could go from here unless it's just for Total Divas, and that's the way that it's going to be. We had a squash match featuring the Bludgeon Brothers beating Breezango. Nothing much, but Bludgeon Brothers, pretty loud team in there, beating everybody up, taking everybody down. From there, we went to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn wrestling against Orton and Nakamura. Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan were the referees for this match, and both of them were in the ring at the same time. I honestly thought that Shane was going to be in the ring and Daniel would be on the outside, making sure Shane was being straight during the match, but Shane was very he was helping out the baby faces. He was making faster counts for them than he was for the heels, trying to make sure that the rules were mostly followed, but if they were broken in one direction, that he would turn the other way. The pinfall came after Daniel Bryan was tripped into breaking up a 3 count after an RKO by Randy Orton onto Sami Zayn. But then after Randy Orton hit another RKO on Kevin Owens, there was sort of a mixed mashup between Orton and Sami Zayn, where Sami Zayn ended up rolling up Randy Orton, and Daniel Bryan made the very, very fast 1, 2, 3, pretty much the speed of maybe a 1.5 count at the most, fast enough that I only thought that he had counted 2 and they had rang the bell on mistake. Shane McMahon, lives to see that he did not get his wish, that Owens and Zayn will stay on SmackDown. My guess from here is that they will be heavily favorited in the Royal Rumble to get to there. Maybe Owens can get a championship shot against AJ Styles at the Rumble out of this. I'm not quite sure, but in the main event, it was AJ Styles going up against Jinder Mahal. This was basically the easiest way I put it was the Hulk Hogan 1980s wrestling style match, with basically Jinder getting the early advantage and just beating up on AJ for what seemed like 10 minutes, and then AJ just coming back and getting the comeback victory after breaking up the heels dastardly duos, with the Singh brothers coming down and them getting involved in the match, trying to pull Jinder out, saving him from 3 counts. We had AJ hitting the Styles Clash on the outside on one of the Singh brothers, and then getting back into the ring and rolling up Jinder. 1, 2, 3, AJ gets the win. He walks out as champion, and everybody goes home happy. So, Clash of the Champions was not the greatest pay-per-view of all time, but it does end up the year on a high note for WWE, and everybody loves the Royal Rumble to kick us off on the road to WrestleMania. So, peace out, everybody. Not the biggest 2 thumbs up in the world, but 3 hours of wrestling, $10 on the network, you can't go wrong.